I think where we're starting to go with this is there's a few players who have data sets that are starting to string it together, but realistically, it's a race to get the most amount of data and process that and be able to predict outcomes and then do that at scale. We're not just going to hire Denzel and hope it goes well. We're going to hire and activate 50 influencers to hit all these different audiences, create large scale content, and have multiple shots at going viral or getting the right type of result.
Well, and the medium changes too, right? You can see the success of Poppy, or you can see why people buy a Stanley water bottle, and you can go back the entire way to go, well, it came from these people. It's almost like you're doing a 23andMe, and you're just saying like, okay, well, this is why, this is how it happened. It's ancestry. But, we're not making the same kind of celebrity that we used to. And because there's a slight, not full death of monoculture, this means that there aren't 3 TV stations. There isn't even just cable. It's now everywhere. So that person who might be gatekept to be like the celebrity who pitches something is probably less effective. I want to know that not only are you entertained by this, but you're going to make a purchase decision based on the content.
100%. And that's where I think having the underlying data and understanding who actually performs with the API connections and the data we have, I can actually show you comparative performance on organic versus sponsored posts. I can show the click-through rate. I can see the actual items in the basket that were purchased. We've seen some really amazing things like complementary products that you would never expect. We've sold millions of dollars of chicken with one of the largest chicken producers. And what we found is the number one product purchased with chicken is milk. And that's not as straightforward a combination. Maybe it is to some people, but then we pitch them on if retailer AYB or XYZ, if you're going to try to sell more milk, pair it up with this chicken because that's what people buy together. Another example, if you didn't have the data, you wouldn't understand why. But Mr. Beast was also on a podcast and he talked about with Mark Zuckerberg, I actually can't speak in my social clips because it flags it as English and it limits the audience and reach of my content. That is something that most people would never have thought would be a problem. And so I think if you are just an agency, if you are just someone who's like, I'm going to hire an influencer to go promote this product, but you don't understand all the data underlying what content performs for which audiences, how to reach and target, you're going to end up sub-optimizing that. And so ultimately, I think those who are going to win are those with the data who can understand and measure what's happening.